that door. Thank you. I am so excited to be here today. I didn't know I was doing this until last night. I'm just joking. Oh, hey, Lorinda. Okay. So I got up this morning. I'm an 80s rock person. Where is Michael? Guess he left. So I met my husband when we were in the music business doing two totally different things. And I got up this morning. I had my Def Leppard going at number 10. I thought Carrie was going to be here because we ran into each other at the Def Leppard concert. Oh, she's not here. So I'm pumped. Hey, Karen. I'm pumped. So, do we have anybody on Zoom?
We do. We have about 10 on Zoom right now.
Okay.
They're all pouring in.
Okay. So we have a lot to cover today. What is everyone most interested in learning today? What brought you here? The food?
You.
Food? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I hope that there's something that I can share with you that you can take away from. I got a text last night and it sounds a little threatening from this text. And I wanted to look up. If I actually Googled the word that this person put in text. And if you're on Zoom right now, I got a text saying you better watch out. There might be a heckler watching today. Does anybody know what a heckler is? Okay. So, Oscar. So a heckler is a person who harasses a public speaker or performer with questions, insults, similar to a comedian. So if we have the heckler on there, maybe you know, you can show your face, okay? Okay. So let's go ahead and we're not going to do everything like typical team meetings, but we are going to start off with gratitude. So somebody has, hey, Adam, anybody have something that they're grateful for?
I'm grateful for the heckler, Oscar.
Okay, you're grateful for him?
Yes.
Anybody else? Yeah. Grateful that you're here, okay. Sounds good. You woke up this morning, right? Anybody else?
Fall weather.
All with yes. So I saw on Facebook, which I'm not on Facebook very much, and I think this agent used to be here in the office, Robert Jolie.
Yeah.
Okay, and she posted, I guess she lives in Florida. She said, pull back on all these comments about pumpkin spices. I'm still finishing my margarita. I'm kind of like her. Anybody else?
Oh.
Yes.
I'm grateful to be able to spend, Sharon and I were able to spend like 5 days at the beach working on our 2025 planning.
Nice.
It tends to be, so I'm very glad that we're able to do that.
I remember what beach you were at.
Panama City.
Panama City. Anybody else have gratitude? Oh, Precious husband. Oh, Precious. Oh, Precious.
I'm grateful for Justin here, Justin. You know, I kind of tend to call her. I think maybe her name and number comes first from my diary.
Okay. Is she here?
Whenever, you know, there's an issue, hi Justin, what do you think of this? And she's always there, and she will laugh and just give the response. So I'm really grateful.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I am Roxie Hernandez, and I look forward to being here with you today. I love listings. Love listings. Not that I don't like working with buyers, but we'll kind of talk about that a lot today. But first, we're going to get up our food sponsor, Evan.
And thank you guys so much for letting me steal a few minutes of your time. I've gotten to know some of you around the office. I've been in the Keller Williams game quite some time. Love what you guys do. So it's great to be around an office. Speaking of gratitude, just be thankful that you're here. Can you just give it up for your team leaders? They make it so easy for me week in and week out to connect with you guys and provide value. That's the whole reason I'm here. I'm an insurance broker. You've got one on every corner of your block. You've probably worked with 3 or 4 in your lifetime. It's something that's out there. It's a dime a dozen. So why am I here today? Why do we specialize with Keller Williams and why do we bring lunches and do stuff like that? We are a very niche insurance broker. So the important thing to take away from me is I only specialize in homes that are under contract. So that means your buyers, even your sellers, if they're having issues, there's some roof stuff, some iffy equations. How many people have come across a roof issue in the last 6 months with insurance? Right? So if you want to talk through those details, I'm always happy to do that with you. We also offer a clue report, loss history report. So if you ever need something, if there's a property in question where there might be some water damage or just want to give that inspector more of an edge into the inside on the home and take better care of your clients, I'm always happy to do that for you guys. So about 95% of my book of business owns a home. We don't really play the billboard, save you $15 on car insurance game. A game that's fun, but that's not me. I prefer to specialize, and that's what we do here at Keller Williams. So my name's Evan Gibson. I would love to get to know each of you guys. So feel free to give me a call anytime. All of my stuff's up here. You can request quotes through my site. I've got cards in the office, but most of all, I try to be a friendly face for as many people as I can. So if there's anything you guys ever need help with, just let me know. Does anyone have a random insurance question? I see Oscar might have. Oh, man, that's a very good question. So I just did a class actually a couple of months ago, and we talked about that at length. That was like most of the questions. So I would say the most helpful advice I can give you right now is if a roof is over 15 years old and let's say you're dealing with a seller, their main concern is going to be when that buyer comes in, the insurance company running into snags or them already trying to get concessions on the roof because they're like, hey, this roof's old, nobody's going to insure it, because that's kind of like the stigma right now. It's not always true. If the home is over 15 years old, I recommend getting an inspection and using your roof person to do that, whether that's in the buying process during due diligence. That'd be one of the first calls I make in due diligence is me and the roof guy, if that's the case. So the issue with that, and to answer your question, really a couple of years ago, insurance companies got in a really bad habit of just paying for everything. State Farm would do it. And so Travelers said, I guess we're going to be the good guys too. And then all of a sudden, all these claims happened. And over the last year and a half, the insurance companies have struggled a lot. We've had a lot of companies close, leave the state. It's becoming the new Florida, like the Department of Insurance here in Georgia. Their products like Grange Insurance, I had a call with them last week. They have a product ready to launch, ready to reopen back in Georgia. They're letting Florida in before Georgia is. So the reason for that is all of the claims that have come through, carriers are just being a lot more strict right now. So if there's any dilapidation of the roof, any granular loss, they're going to look at it extra hard because the probability of that client needing to make a claim on it as it dilapidates is very high. So that's why they're looking so close at it. Very loaded question. I doubt I hit on really the important stuff, but give me a call. I'd love to talk more with you.
Evan, can we have you out in maybe October to teach that class?
Would love that. Would love that. Yeah, whenever. Just any other questions you guys have? Yes.
Do insurance companies cover invisible leaks, like a water leak, right? Like I have appliance issue right now, the water bill jumped from 170 to 770.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes,
So something like that, absolutely.
they will cover.
Yeah, so the plumbing is often the part that's not covered because they're gonna consider that just a worn part or maintenance or faulty craftsmanship, whatever it is. The insurance company is not gonna pay for the plumbing mitigation. Like you're gonna have to pay the plumber out of pocket to fix the pipe, but the resulting damage is what the insurance company covers. They should have some mold in there as well, mold coverage. If it's something sudden, you shouldn't have that issue. You've got a proper restoration company, but the resulting damage, as long as it's sudden accidental or a weather event or a catastrophe, it's typically like best question always asked before you make a claim. Was this sudden? Was this accidental? Was this caused by weather, nature, or something out of my control? If that's the case, most times insurance companies are going to cover it. Great question. But I won't take too much of you guys' time. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me here.
Thanks for lunch.
And, yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Tell Evan I didn't recognize him because he's cut his hair.
Pre-30 express.
Uh,
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, happy.
Well, just stand up, we want you to be able to do whatever, so what are grades?
Great.
But line asking what we say. No. No work. Woo.
I'm funny.
I quoted a 5.75 FHA fixed rate.
You said FHA?
Yeah, FHA, 5.75. Yeah, so they're not, no, they're not. What is their number? Andy has said this on the call, you know, is it a rate that they're shooting for? With the payment that they're shooting for, with the equity out of their house that they're shooting for? You know, what is their number? A lot of people don't know their number. They're just guessing at it. So ask them that question. You can help them with it. We don't have full credit, consultation, run numbers, get them ready. Some people are gonna wait till spring. They probably shouldn't if they are. Yeah, what are the numbers? Start asking. Because the rates are in the highs and can be for everything. Is that the number that everybody's waiting for? That's what I'm trying to figure.
5.75?
It's five. We're in the five. Is that the number? Don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know your number.
Thank you. Do we have McMichael and Gray or O'Kelly? Oh, Michael. Hey there. Come on up here.
Hey, everyone, how are you all this morning? Morning.
Hey there.
Hey, how are you? So I'm Jackie with Mike McGray, I'm the agent service representative. That's always say you'll see me at different offices traveling around saying, hey, make sure your closings are going well, that you all here are using the dedicated email address kwrc@mmg.law. So if you have any questions for me, Michael and Gray, make sure you send it there. And then marketing, as I always like to quickly speak on, if you need anything for your open houses, anything that's going on, marketing@mmg.law, and we love to assist. We come out to your open houses and we give cute little trinkets and things. We have lip gloss now. Yes. So if you ever need that, just let us know, okay? Take it away. Take it away.
Hey, folks, I'm Kenneth Bray. I'm the attorney that handles, coordinates over the closing. And I want to make sure I'm first giving you guys my direct. And this is very important. I'm gonna give you my phone number, okay? 404-217-4407. That number will get to me at any point. If you're having any issues with anyone at our firm, I certainly can cut through and get you a direct answer. So certainly work through who you're working with, but please feel free to reach out to me so we can get you where you need to be. Okay, this is a tremendous group. I love the vibe. You guys are always up and hype and you get me excited about doing this work. So thank you for that, right?
Anybody have any questions? Any legal?
More time, please.
Yes. 404-217-4407. 404-217-4407.
Oh, and, if you all stay around after your wonderful team meeting from 1 to 2 o'clock, Kenneth will be, presenting a 1-hour class about, things that you see at the closing table. So when you just documents that you go over. So please, you all, if you have time, stay around just an hour. We won't keep you long, we promise. Okay, but it's some good stuff for you, okay? All right, we're out of here.
You've never been to a closing before? There's lots of agents in here that would welcome you to come so you can kind of see what happens or what shouldn't happen. Okay, Kelly, I haven't seen her. Georgia Natural Gas, Up Equity. Okay. You're up.
I will keep it short as well. I just wanted to do a quick reminder of everyone. I know I come here and I talk a lot about mail, but I want to remind people we do more than just mail. We can do your listing brochures, your yard signs. We can do your custom note cards, your directional signs, banners, golden letters. As I tell people in my office all the time, if you have a print idea, we most likely do it. And if we don't do it, I am happy to get you a custom print. And if you guys don't already have our contact information, you can scan that QR code. We prefer email, but you are always free to call or text us. We are happy to answer. Thank you.
Okay, so our next guest. We see if they're here.
They are.
Oh, they are? So we have 4 philanthropies, actually 3, that we support here in the Market Center. And the Roswell Cares Committee, which Marinelli and I co-lead, One of them is the North Bolton Community Charities, which we did the, the backpack school thing for. We'll do the coats coming up in October, November. Melody spearheads that. And then our second philanthropy, I'm sorry?
Watch the codes.
Oh, yes. And then our next philanthropy that in this market center that we support is foster care. So we do things, we'll be doing the grands, raising grands. Then we also have the Roswell First Responders, which every Thanksgiving, if you're new to the office, we provide a full Thanksgiving meal from flowers to desserts to drinks, turkeys, all of that for every one of the fire stations here in Roswell and the police station. And this year, we're going to bring it back how we used to do it. We're going to deliver those meals on Thanksgiving. So last year, we had a little bit of an issue, and if the fire station would have had all women in there, this would never have happened. But the meals were brought the day before, and they were there, to welcome and for the folks that are working on Thanksgiving that aren't with their families. Well, the crew that day ate. And then the next day, there wasn't any food for the ones that were there. So we get a call from the fire chief saying, what happened? I thought you were bringing meals. So I know women would have never done that. Right? We would have had portion control. We only have this and this, all that. So we got two guests today from the Roswell Fire Department here. Michael, you want to introduce them?
Yep, and they don't look like that guy up there.
They took the better looking bunch.
He did. He definitely did. So instead of the chief, we got two deputy chiefs here. So we got Deputy Chief Wolf and Deputy Chief Troch. So they are one level down. They report directly to Chief Panino. And then they have a whole bunch of people that report to them. So thank you for coming. Great guys, great stories, and I'll let you take it from here.
Okay. So just in for a few minutes, just wanted to see what questions you might have about the Roswell Fire Department, one of our first responders here. The Roswell First Responders Foundation supports all of our first responders in Roswell, fire, police, etc. And so I thought we would have, Joe had something come up in his schedule, so he said.
He did.
I don't know. He did. Okay. Okay.
He had a significant conflict in schedule today, and it was pretty important that he had to address.
Okay, okay. So I went to Roswell Rotary last week and I met the 911, John P.
Yep.
John P. What's his real last name?
Pekowski.
Oh, yeah. So I don't even know how to pronounce that.
I just made that up. I don't know what it is either. I think I got it right. I'm 100% sure.
Okay, so that was very interesting. That when you call 911, what is the first question they're going to ask you? What is your location? What is your location? Because from what I understood, they need to start sending people to come help you before you start telling about I've fallen, I broke my leg. They need to know where you're at. Okay, so tell us a little bit about what's going on with the fire station.
It's an interesting dynamic of what you just mentioned. When we moved into a mobile age where you have a mobile phone, the mobile phone is hitting a tower. It's no longer a landline that goes direct and says, this is my address. So where are you located is more important today because you're on a mobile phone. And if you hit a tower that may go to a dispatch center in Sandy Springs, because the first tower that picks up the mobile device, then where are you? We can triangulate a location. So technology has been a tremendous help, but as we've gone through all the paradigm shifts in public safety, when we went to the transition to mobile phone, it changed the dynamics of how we do work because you could be calling from anywhere. And it takes a moment to translate.
Got it.
As far as where we are, we're going to break this up a little bit into community risk reduction and get general overview of the fire department. So for those of you that don't know, the Roswell Fire Department existed as a volunteer organization that transitioned into a part-time. And that's very difficult in our profession for people to even wrap their minds around because it really doesn't fit. Part-time means that the City of Roswell administration, those that lead the organization are full-time members. So they're there all the time, providing guidance, direction, developing policies and all those different things. As far as the people that actually respond to the call, our membership that responds to the call, show up to your home to help you, all of those members were made up of part-time. What that means is they work full-time at another organization within the metropolitan area. And then we employ them part-time here, so they get off on their shift, they come to work for us, and then they provide the service for us. What that provides us is the ability to, one, a lot of cost savings, obviously, because the brunt of their training and benefits come from full-time. But there's also deficits that brings, because imagine that you have a full football team made up of people that don't regularly play the game together. It becomes quite difficult to organize that team to move in the same direction. So we started the 5-year plan to transition to a full-time, which means all of the membership becomes full-time. That in itself is a tremendous, tremendous undertaking that is extremely complex, especially in today's day and age where recruitment and retention has become so difficult. And you have to figure out what is the niche, what is the so special about the Roswell Fire Department that are going to make people come to us and work for us. And one thing, hands down, that has been the catalyst for us to be able to recruit people is the community. The department, they love, it's great, we have a lot to offer, but the community is really that compelling point that people go, so about the city of Roswell that we want to be part of. So that's a big deal for us. We started that transition into full-time. A lot of hiring, a lot of promoting, retention. We have 100% retention of everybody that we've onboarded. Also with that, we are looking at unique and innovative ways to just change the profession that is built on history and culture and does not like change. Hundreds of years that we've done something and we learn from the lessons that our brothers and sisters have given their lives for, but we don't like change. So one of the things that we recently implemented that is very unique is the fire department traditionally works. Anybody here have family in the fire service at all? 24 hours, 48. So they're on for 24 hours, they're off for 48. Well, one of the things that we found and recent research has opened our eyes to is that schedule is having horrific effects on us, on our physical and mental well-being. So we went ahead and partnered up with some pretty high-level PhDs and studies and research that's out there, and we are switching to a 4896. Now, the interesting thing with that, not only does that put out the message that we prioritize the health and safety of our responders, but it's also a real innovative way to take an approach at how do we safeguard that sleep cycle that both Brian and I have suffered for over 2 decades of the 24-48. There's cancer, cardiac, mental health issues that come attributed with that. The sleep cycle don't even exist. Most of us that have done that schedule for more than 2 decades still have difficulty getting to a sleep pattern that has some physiological impacts. So the 4896, why is that so innovative? First of all, it's cost neutral. So we did the research. We found in order for us to safeguard our people, we need to take this action. We did small town halls. We did all the stuff right to make sure we had the buy-in. They didn't understand. They had a full understanding of it. They had their voice in it. We partnered up with some, like I said, high-level PhDs, institutions that are doing studies, and those studies are going to help shape the profession. So Roswell's having an impact on the profession as a whole globally, because what's going to end up happening is that this research group is going to put out the findings, and the findings are things like our blood pressure starting to go down, or we seeing heart rates go down, or we seeing testosterone levels increase, or we seeing sleep cycles stabilize. And the way we're doing that is there's annual physicals that we take that are very in-depth physicals. They take that data as well as wearables that the firefighters are wearing. They take all that data, they analyze it, and they do a pre and a post. And with that, we're going to be able to have fact around, does this schedule have a positive impact on them? Along with that is also a mental health component. So we didn't want to leave the families out. We want to make sure the families have input. So the families get a survey, the spouses that will say, is your spouse more present with their, how the kids feel about it? So that global approach to ensuring the city of Roswell had responders that are truly rested, prepared to respond, and just there, can be present 100% versus sleep deprived, then giving their services for such a long period of time and suffering the consequences when it's retirement time because their bodies and their minds are just not where it needs to be. That's just one of many, many, many innovative ways that Roswell Fire Department's working at ensuring that this city has the absolute best responders, equipment, and everything to offer. With the addition of, like I said, transitioning to a full-time. One more component, and I'll turn it over to Brian to talk a little bit about community risk reduction, which is a very important in this field of work. Is the fact that we have, everybody here familiar with the insurance rating the fire departments get that determine, okay, very important to this group, right? So one of the things that we have done is we've taken a very strategic approach to that. Typically, fire departments, they work at doing that, but it's not like we have data analysts and that type. Historically, we had, well, we do. City of Roswell has a data manager in our organization that just focuses on data and how do we use that? Not just to help ourselves to be better at responding to these incidents, but how do we strategically place ourselves in a place where the community benefits from it, which would be a lower ISO. Right now, we're in ISO level 2. The best you can get is a 1. We're currently under investment. We don't know what the outcome is going to be, but we are close. So we're doing a lot to be a world-class organization. Working very hard. That is the goal. That is the vision, is to be world-class. So basically, it'll be a non-stop evolution to perfection, which, you know, some will say it's unachievable. I'll just say it is a trajectory that we're in, and we're not going to fall short of it. So that's kind of a global view of some of the things we have to.
Anyone had any encounters with the fire department? Like you called them out to your house or something? Okay. Do you have any questions that he might have triggered? Right off the bat?
I'm curious to know with the transition to full-time and you said community is something that will attract people. Can firefighters afford to live in this community? And is there anything that you're doing to help?
Such an interesting question. That put me on the spot. I'll tell you why.
You got the answer?
I don't have the answer.
Okay.
So, as about 6 years ago-ish, I took that out as a project in the city to try to figure out what could we do in the city to have first responders live here. And a quick answer to your question, it is very difficult for first responders to live in the city unless they were already established here, been here for a long time, and that's how they got their out. So we find that it is difficult. As far as, is there anything that you can do or anyone can do? You know, that is very difficult to answer. We don't have an answer to that. What we know is that they want to. We have some, but the metropolitan area has become quite expensive, where first responder salaries really don't, they're not within the range to make it affordable to live in some of these cities. So we've seen a huge decrease in the last 2 decades of responders in any metropolitan city, to be honest with you. Most metropolitan cities that they're able to live in. That makes, is that right, Brian? Brian's been here for a very long time. So Chief Wolf is seeing a lot happen within the city all the way back to the volunteer days.
Yeah, I started out as a volunteer in '96, just before the Olympics. And I used to live in the city. I do not anymore. I moved out in 2003. But it wasn't because of cost. It was some other factors. But most of my wife's family still lives in, her parents live in Roswell. So, but from an economic standpoint, one of the things that 4896 does is it allows economies of scale. Because those firefighters are here for 48 hours, so they're combining their commute. Where, they were coming once every 3 days, now they're coming once every 6 days, basically. So they're making one commute, a week as opposed to 2 to 3. And then when they're at the station, they know they're gonna be there for 48 hours, they can plan their meals out and go buy in bulk. As opposed to going to the store here and there to get goods. So that's one of the ways that the 4896 kind of helps them on the backside. But to get more to the question that was asked, I worked in Gwinnett for 25 years. I never lived in Gwinnett County, and most of the people I worked with didn't live there either. So I would say 15% of the workforce for the fire department lived in Gwinnett County.
There's one component to that that's worth mentioning on this, and I think you're gonna find the same from law enforcement. We have any veterans in the room by any chance? If we do, thank you for your service. One of the things with us that you have to understand, these are conversations that we have with our veterans. When a veteran goes out to war, they go overseas, they go to that country, all the trauma happens in that country, they come back and God bless them. They gotta suffer that, but it's in another country. Our traumas exist around us every day, and we drive around them every day. So often what you will find is that first responders choose to live outside of the community that they serve because they're constantly reminded. So if you drive past a house or a building, I'm gonna make the assumption that this profession does the same thing we do when we drive by and go, oh, what's the cardiac arrest? There was a big car wreck here. That's not a fire. That's our history, right? I sold that house. I made a mint of that. For us, we do the same thing. I've said, what's associated with what we're seeing is typically not a great story. So what you'll find that a lot of first responders strategically will choose to live outside the trauma zone. That way, every time they drive, they're gonna go, this happened there, that happened there, because it is running through your mind. For working decades in the city, we are gonna do the same thing you do. Our story is just different. But we're gonna say, I know what happened there. I remember this call there. And even the people that you run across while you're patronizing some of the local businesses. So besides the affordability, there's also some other components that play a factor in living outside of the community. So your mind can actually get some rest and you don't see those.
I never thought about that.
traumas.
Anybody have any questions?
Nice.
Thank you.
Oscar was wondering if there's an age limit cutoff.
No,
No?
it's all if they pass the physical, you get to recruit school,
Okay.
it's challenging.
Okay.
But you have to be
Wondering
18.
for the work or the calendar? Oh. Well, thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for taking care of us.
And thank you so much. I gotta make one note on the foundation.
Uh-huh.
So I'm extremely grateful for the foundation and understand that for us, what something like the foundation does. We have members that go through pretty significant life issues. We really deal as chiefs, we deal with people. A structure fire, a house on fire, a medical call, a car accident. Those are daily things that take place that we're almost programmed to execute at that level without even thinking. The human problem, not really trained as much for that. And we have a lot of human problems. And human problems means people that have very traumatic things that happen in their lives. And we have a professional obligation to support those people through that, because some of that is because what our industry brings to the table, a lot of traumatic events, a lot of, we read the statistics, we're 300% more prone to have cancers. We are a lot more prone to mental illness, addiction, and all these types of things. So with that being said, I don't think there's a month that goes by that we're not in some type of communication where one of our members needs some level of assistance that we can't offer as much as we want. Because trust me, we would all do whatever it takes to take care of this membership, but there's hundreds of them, right? So it gets quite difficult. And that's something that is, I wish you knew the impact it was having, and I can't even disclose it because it's private, but it's having a tremendous impact. As far as the food, here's the way it works in the firehouse. And you can test me on this. I could put $100 on that table and come back 2 years later, that $100 is there. You put a cupcake down, it's not gonna last 5 minutes. You drop food off a day early. The expectation is there may only be a tray left.
It happens around here too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, in the firehouse, there's things that are sacred. They are the most trustworthy individuals and it's an honor to work along these people. $100 will sit there forever. Food is free game.
And if it's a pan full of brownies, they will cut it in half. And cut it in half, and cut it in half. Because they don't want to wash the dish.
Thank you so much.
Donate extra food this year, right?
The foundation, the Roswell First Responders Foundation, they have their first fundraiser coming up on Sunday. Some of you may have gotten a text about it. It's to be a great culinary experience. I can send you more information, but has anyone interested in going? Okay, okay. Have you gotten your tickets already?
Yeah. Not, that's different.
Okay, so I have a gift for you that if you register tomorrow, you'll get $25 off the general admission. So, or if you can't come and you want to sponsor a firefighter or a police officer and give them your ticket too. So I'll put my Venmo and stuff up here later if that's of interest to you, okay? Okay, so thank you very much. Also, our own Sean Bailey is going to be the MC. Everyone know Sean? Yeah. Crazy Sean. So again, this event is Sunday from 3 to 7 at From the Earth. Okay? Yep. And then tomorrow night, we're just having a pop-up at From the Earth from 4 to 6. If you want to come try one of the foods that they're going to be cooking, grilled oysters. So the menu is unbelievable. And again, I'll be sending it out to everybody too. Yeah.
Okay, definitely check out that menu. I was reading it the other night and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to get a ticket for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, fantastic. So let's go ahead. I think what we're all here to try to make some money, get our listing sold, right? Okay. Okay. Who is here that was on the critique panel? Heather? Donna? Okay, thank you. So we're gonna have Adam come up. And this is called Gotta Sell. And I'm hoping that we can keep doing this. So Adam has a listing that's been on the market for over 30 days. Can you believe that? 30 days.
I know.
So I remember in 2008, we were carrying 30 to 35 listings at a time, and average days on market was 6 months plus. Yeah, so, but it is different than what we've had before with negative number of days on the market. So a few of us actually looked at, what's the address again? And we're going to pull it up.
It's 1920 Ardmore Road.
Yeah, and we're gonna do this quickly. But a few of us looked at the listing. And just saying, did we see anything there that might be helpful? Heather?
I don't know, Jordan.
Here we go.
I wanted to start off by saying, as soon as I pulled it up, it's super tiny house,
Mm.
really large price tag, bathrooms, kitchen, totally outdated,
Mhm.
right? If you look at the driveway, like, it's not even like a designated driveway, right? It's so charming, and then you get inside and it's just not, there's no wow to it,
Right.
really, for the price.
Mhm.
I pulled up other neighborhoods, other houses in the community, and I saw that houses that were going, under contract really, really quick were between 7 and 13 days.
Mhm.
And they were like just pristine, and their bathrooms and their kitchens were
Mhm.
super souped up.
For sure.
And I know it's not you, right? Like, we all have clients, I'm sure your client wants to stick to that price, like,
Mhm.
that's not lost on me. But the other thing that I saw too was when I went into the history of it, the compensation, so it was priced about $50,000 above, and the compensation was really low. And so we know, right,
Yeah.
we like to work for like a number,
Mhm.
and again, I'm sure your client had everything to do with this.
Right.
I just thought, then I saw the compensation was raised a little bit, which, fair game.
Mhm.
But I think it just started off on a wrong.
For sure.
Honestly,
Yeah.
maybe you can pull it off and then pop it back in
Mhm.
and just start over and embrace the history.
Yeah. Well,
it's 30 days to reset the days on market, because now we're at like 50, 52, 53 days on market, and it was 750 up until yesterday. We just reduced it to 725. So I think that's gonna help, and it's just hard to advise right now, I feel like, because there's a house across the street, same square footage. A little bit nicer inside that sold for $795. And then the neighbor next door was a little bit larger, nicer inside and sold for $875. So this isn't in town, like really close to the walking distance to the Beltline, right down the street. But what's so hard about like comps from the spring is it's just like the market has changed so much since what was going on in the spring, that it's like now, we're priced in line and still nothing happening. So it's like, do we keep chasing the market down? We should have like you said, started here and started with, a higher fire agent compensation, and I wish you could turn back the time.
Yeah. Are you gonna say, why don't you stage it?
Yeah, we could stage it. I got some virtual staging done. It's tough because it's like, do I pay to stage it when we're not getting showings?
How many showings have you had?
Probably between 8 and 10, less than 12, and we've been on for 50 days.
It's all about the number right now.
And Juan did an open house there, and it was really slow.
Yeah.
It's tough, like the way this one's laid out too is like,
That's not a $725.
Original package.
yeah,
For Micah Tops.
for sure, yeah, it's, in the way it's laid out, yeah, it's really narrow, it's super narrow in that picture.
I think the galley is fine, because when you're buying over there, right, you're giving up space for proximity and
Sure.
location.
Mhm.
Right? I think that's fine. I was shocked at the countess.
Yeah,
And this is all constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
not my house, yeah.
That's your client.
Yeah.
Our other critiquer, Simon Cowell, is not. Feedback from that person.
Okay.
Don,
I thought your pictures were a little boring, like I couldn't, especially the kitchen ones. I think if we could hit it from another angle, that would be better. I think you're fairly significantly overpriced. I think you probably need to be at $675. The one that sold with the same square footage as yours, 291 square feet, sold for $639. So I think you're a little better than that one, Evan. It just, when you look at the comp and what you can get, Heather's right. Everything else I looked at, that is your competition. In that price range, the bathrooms and the kitchens were.
Right.
and there's the 3-bedroom, 2-bath coming on the market too for $575. That's in Underwood Hills, but same elementary school, similar square footages. Okay. So one thing that I thought too, and then we'll, is if you go back to the very, the FMLS sheet, I would probably, can you scroll up? I would probably put something else here besides cottage,
Okay,
maybe traditional.
traditional.
Just because as agents and we pull things, we have all these different Cape Cod, traditional, ranch, all of those. Is that some people may just put in traditional
And miss it,
and miss it.
yeah.
So that was one thing. Is this grass real or is that virtual?
There is grass there that's enhanced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so our Simon Cal person.
In the back, it's like very enhanced.
So real quickly, she just thought the house is priced above anything else in the area and a half-a-mile radius. She even was throwing out in the fives.
We did get an offer for $650.
Oh, $650. $650. Are they looking back, wishing they would have taken it?
No.
No. Yeah, that's a good one.
It was a couple, 10 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a flip or a rental?
He had it as a rental for a really long time.
Can he afford to update the kitchen? Can he afford to at least, at minimum, update the countertop?
So his
And the vanity in
situation,
that bathroom?
he has another property in the area and he had just finished renovating that one and he was living here when he was doing the renovation on that one. So he just moved into that one and then that's when we got this ready and put it on the market. So, I mean, I don't really know his exact financial situation, but he just got finished renovating another property to live in, so,
Maybe you could share the NAR impact report with him,
yeah.
where he puts his money and what the most return would be.
Mhm.
Just flip through it yourself and plot the pages that.
Yeah. I had to really, it was like, we just got it painted, the interior. I had my painter go out there and it painted the entire interior, but he didn't want to do that before, like, he doesn't want to do
I
it.
have money on the side.
He doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
So can I, go ahead.
Can I make a quick suggestion? Since you're not, staging the whole house,
Mhm.
typically in vacant house,
Yeah.
focus on the kitchen and the bathrooms, and
Mhm.
kind of like make sure I put like nice.
Towels. Yeah.
And something, because it kind of cuts the monotony of not having
Sure.
furniture.
Mhm.
And especially when they're walking through, as well as maybe like the pot of flowers in the front.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not much, but it's something,
Helps, yeah.
yeah.
So our Simon Cowell had recommended, there's 2 bathroom photos on one of the other bathrooms,
Mhm.
but maybe just having one,
Okay.
maybe having some fun, cheery, welcome mats coming in at the front and the back,
Okay.
for someone to say, remember, this is a really cute little cottage.
You
Mhm.
can make that
Yeah,
really
make it-
pretty.
yeah.
with that
Yes.
curtains.
Probably change the paint in that bathroom, make it all white. So
We
that
did.
It's a little yellow now, so it
That's the whole
looks,
picture.
you know, and maybe do, they have these tile companies that will come in and
Mhm.
basically paint even like black part of the tile or any of the floors.
Mhm.
It's fine, but in general, they'll come in and put like epoxy on and it looks nice.
I wonder if I can upload this to like, Sherwin-Williams has like a color,
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
like upload this.
yeah.
But I did paint it, and it's, or I didn't paint it, we got it painted.
It might be just the light, and
Yeah.
again, because there's nothing else you're looking at,
Mhm.
because that's it has personality like that. Particular style of tile is
Mhm.
very cottagey, so it goes, it's just, I'll go and state it for you.
It looks kind of, yeah,
I'll make it pretty.
yeah,
I'll call you later and I can give you the rest.
okay.
The feedback.
Thanks, Roxie.
Okay.
At, the roundtable that we did for critiquing our listings.
Yeah.
I think just a couple big takeaways for me. I'm pretty much just a listing agent. Never had a house on the market the whole time I've been over 30 days. Like most, we've gotten used to since 2020, 2019, houses going really quick. So, takeaways for our photos and our descriptions have to be critiqued by other agents. I mean, it's just critical that we have to be correct. And even with photographers, I've had the same photographer for a while and I'm usually not even there, or, you know, I just kind of turn things around. I'm going to be there. I'm gonna look at those pictures before, because you gotta have like a wow picture. You gotta have 1 or 2 pictures that they just go, okay, I gotta go see that.
Yeah.
And I just was not attentive.
Yeah, and if you're an experienced agent in here, or if you're brand new, reach out to somebody, because sometimes it can be as simple as it's in Martin's Landing, but you don't have it to swim and tennis community. It can be just little things like that cottage that people are maybe just gonna put traditional or contemporary. So, okay. So hopefully that was helpful. We used to do these back in like 06, 07, 08. And everyone brought their flyers and we would critique them. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead, if I can get Mr. and Mrs. Sellers up here, please. Oscar, that's you.
Sky's so unruly, Brad.
The Heckler family.
Divorced.
Separate the chairs.
Far.
Sit over there.
I want to concentrate today on the negotiation part of it. I love negotiating. That's probably my favorite part of real estate. Come on, Oscar. So, as the video that I did, someone called me last week. I have been talking to them for 14 years, and they basically said, come list my house. So immediately what I did is to prepare for my appointment is I went on to FMLS. And I first looked at their address to see if it had ever been on the market before. Okay, you can go down to archive. Then I went to Remind. Has everybody been on there? Remind? Okay, has everybody been on there?
Yeah.
Okay, because you can find out a lot of information. Okay, what type of mortgage they have, what they possibly owe, what their interest rate is, what their taxes might be. I also then look at Zillow. And why do I go to Zillow and look? Because they're always accurate, right?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee the sellers are looking, Also in Remind, you can get an estimated approximate value, which sometimes is accurate, sometimes it's not. But I'm just kind of preparing myself of what I may hear from my seller when I meet with them. So looking at Zillow, FMLS, I'll look at other agents, documents on there, looking at, community association fees, what's the highest sale, what's the lowest sale, tax records, and then I'll even dig into the assessments. So usually I spend a couple of hours just researching things before I even meet with the client.
I have a question.
Is this the heckler?
So what I really want to know is, do you even know what you're doing?
No.
How long have you been in the business, lady?
I think you have
Are you happy now?
we lose your connection, I think.
I mean, 30 years or something? I mean, what's that? It's not 50.
I don't even know what to say.
We can't hear you.
I think wrong number. I think you have the wrong number.
Great job, you guys.
Then I'll look at the satellite view too, to see if Georgia 400 backed up to the house and the first neighbor for her first house. So you can see I'm just doing my reconnaissance before I actually meet with them. And then before I meet with them, I'm going to do a pre-qualification. Okay, simple questions of, do you need to sell this house to buy another one? If you have the confidence in my ability, and we're going to do some more in-depth classes on this, but I'm pre-qualifying them. And what am I trying to find out? Motivation. How would you rate your house on a scale of 1 to 10?
As far as quality or price or
Just
what?
how would you rate it? 11. Okay. And if Oscar had said, maybe a 5, my next question will be, well, what would make it a 10? Well, I'm backed up to Georgia 400.
Oh.
I have power lines, I have polybutylene pipes, and I have termite damage. Whatever it may be, so I have a feel of what I might be walking into. So then I'm going to send to them, you could do it via email if you wanted, I call it my wow package. It's just a pre-list package. And it's going to have some references in there, other homes that we might have sold. You could also use these seller guides. If you wanted, you could drop it off at their house, mail them. Those are the KW, you can brand them, just something to get in front of them. What I'm not going to do is send them houses. Comparables, because what will happen when I get to their house? They've looked all through them and now they already kind of are on guard. Why did she send me this one? I have the best house in the neighborhood. So I don't send any of that. So then we're going to fast forward to, we actually meet. Okay, and they happen to be going through a divorce. Okay, unfortunately. Okay. So Donna McClure, you have a class tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Okay, on pricing. So I'm not going to even go into that as far as how to price a house. Just put on your calendar. What time is it?
11:30. 11:30.
Okay. Okay, so we're not going to get into that today because we're limited on time, of course. So we've decided to work together. Okay, and you've hired me. I do a seller net sheet, and I've done it for 30 years with every one of my clients. And it's actually it will help you during negotiation because sometimes people get fixated on the price they're selling the house for. And it has really nothing to do about that. It's the bottom line figure and how we get there. So I do a net to seller worksheet, which I would email or we go over at the table of a possible scenario that might happen. And maybe they're a $400,000 house. Do we think that in today's market, a buyer may ask for closing costs? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask them, if you have any liens or any types of issues that I need to know about that you need to pay off?
Not aware of it.
Okay.
Pay everybody?
And what I'll normally say is, I am not here to ask you any personal questions that make you feel uncomfortable, but the more that you can share with me, then I can help you with your situation. And then, well, we are behind on our HOA dues. Well, how far behind are you? Like we haven't paid in 3 years. Are you, do you think there might be a lien on the property? You see where I'm going. I'm just trying to get a picture of what is going on in this situation. So I would do a net to seller spreadsheet. You guys could have a net to seller sheet. If you don't, we can get you one. Everybody have one? Okay. So I did this for them at the time of listing, and then here comes a contract, okay? So we listed this house on July 24th. Listed it at $399,718. 718, my mom was a realtor. I never knew this until later on in life. I said, why did you list everything 718? That was her birthday. But it looks different in the computer. And on this, that's your birthday? July 18th? Okay. So in this situation, when I listed this property at that price, I actually had 3 phone calls from other agents. How did you come up with that number? And I said, it was careful calculations. Because it looked different in the computer. As a 399.9 or something of that nature. So we had an offer come in and it was from an investor. Okay. And the seller had already told me beforehand, why are you not selling my house? Mr. Seller was not very nice. He was bitter. I had to have separate phone calls with both of them. He questioned everything that I said. And I actually took that listing because they couldn't agree on who to use as an agent. And I had sold the house several years ago. And so the judge actually put in there, call the listing agent back that showed it. So I have it on the market again. So here comes an offer and I call you. Okay. Now Heather's the one making all the house payments. She's also maintaining the house. Okay.
My money.
She's doing it. Okay.
There we go.
They both live in different cities. And
Your wife and your kids.
yeah. So let's go through this together. I do this at the time of listing and then when we have an offer, you'll see what the importance is of it. So on this situation, we had it listed at $389,718 and they had a mortgage. Does everybody see on there where you fill in the mortgage? Okay, I would get proof of what that number is. Because if they're not on top of things, what happened to one of my sellers years ago is he said, I have a line of credit. And I said, how much is it? Do you guys have this form? Is there any more?
Yeah.
I got it. Thank you. And this is on FMLS too. So I worked this at $389,718. That was our list price after we realigned. Did you notice I said realigned our price, not reduce? We realigned our price for the market. I think that comes off better than reduce. And you just see like money just coming out of your account. We realigned our price for the market. So they had a payoff. I'm just going to use $195. So that would go online too. And I did ask to see a copy of it because where I was going a second ago is someone told me they had a line of credit. And I said, how much is that you have to pay off at the closing? And they said 50,000. The day before closing, when they looked at their numbers, it was 104.
Yeah.
They were not very happy. And that's where I learned my lesson to get something from them in writing, because he had to go to the bank and find some money, basically, to close. Okay, so on this sheet, I never use any of this accrued interest, any of this other stuff. I just put in what they owe. And if they have a line of credit, I put that in as well. Everybody with me? Okay.
Yes, we put in their house payment in that interest block.
I never do it, but you could.
I do.
You do.
Because they are going to think, most sellers will say, oh, great, let's put the end of August, but then I have to make September 1 payment.
Right.
But they're actually making the interest payment from all that.
Yeah, because
So
interest is paid in arrears.
so I don't figure out all this calculation much faster than what their house.
Okay, okay. And I'm gonna touch on that in just, thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so we explained to them, this is my roadmap, if I say it, at the very beginning. So we're gonna talk about things that you might see in the contract, so they're just not off guard when an offer comes in. Would it be reasonable to say that a buyer might ask for some closing costs in this market? So I put in 5,000. It could be 0, could be 3,000, but at least it gives that a talking point and a roadmap that we've discussed that. So I've set the expectation. Then I took their taxes. So they're unpaid property taxes. So you need to be looking at what the new tax bills are. And if you go into the assessor's office, the bills are there because you can't use what's in the tax records. I saw one this morning where the agent was using 2022 taxes. So you can go into the assessor's office. So I just put their annual taxes were $4,133. If you want to put that in the first line. Okay, and then you divide it by 365 days. You're looking from January 1st to the day of closing. So I was using the end of September close date. Okay, everybody with me still?
Yes.
Okay, so of course, the tax bill, they may have to pay it at the closing, the full amount, but they're gonna get a credit back. It's a wash. But I'm just letting them know that if their tax bill is 4133 and we close the end of September, the attorney's going to be collecting $3,057 from them. Okay?
And right now, all the tax bills are coming out for 2024, so make sure you look at that.
Yeah.
And start quoting that right now, because there's sometimes big gaps between 23 and 24.
Right.
And they don't want some,
And also, do they have state and do they have city taxes? We're gonna get to you guys in just a second. I'm just setting the stage. Special assessments, i.e. association fees. Maybe they've been notified that every homeowner needs to pay $1,000 so they can, refurbish the pool. So I would list that. Survey, I usually put a 0 in there because most sellers are not paying for a survey of the property. Everybody know what a survey is? Okay, does anybody not know? Okay. Home inspection repairs. On this specific property, it had some defective siding. There was some wood rot. There was a number of things that I felt may come up from a buyer's inspection. So I put in $5,000. And they went, we're not paying $5,000 in inspection items. I'm not saying that you are. I just want to let you know. And then you can talk about inspections. The buyer will probably have an inspection done. They may have an HVAC person come out. They may have a radon test. Let's just put 5,000. It's a buffer. Okay, hopefully it'll be less. Then the real estate brokerage fee. Okay, they had agreed to pay the buyer's agent 3%. And then my professional, compensation was 3%. So that ended up being $23,383. Line 14. Document prep fee, I left 0. Prorated rent to the buyer, I left a 0. There's no security deposits that have to be transferred. There was a $250 closing letter fee. So I put that in on 18. And then I did POA/miscellaneous, another buffer item, because I thought they may not come to the closing. There may be an unpaid water bill, which we see a lot. So I plugged in $500. So when I do all those calculations, it brings you down to $157,528. Okay? Everybody with me?
What was the previous one? Just the $500 buffer?
I just POA in case one of them needed a power of attorney.
Got it.
Because they both lived in 2 states.
And that's on like 20 or 21 on the area. So
19 is where I put it.
okay, thank you.
Susan, did you do anything on yours? Differently? Oh, Donna, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, sorry. Looking right at you, Susan. Okay, so I had an offer come in on the property.
That's the agent we got, okay? She didn't even know my name.
Okay. Come in. Okay, a few days before that, the seller was saying, why is my house not selling? We wanted to price it at 430. You recommended under 400. We've realigned the price by 10,000. Why is it not selling? Talked with him about all of that. And then he said, before I had it on the market with you, I was getting phone calls daily from other agents. They had buyers, so I went through that. Then we had an offer come in. Okay, so I have to talk to them separately. So I called first, Heather. Okay, and I said, Heather, great news.
She wants to make a team with the ladies.
I said, great news. So many times when we're negotiating, how we start the conversation is how our client is going to perceive it. If I called him and said, oh my God, Heather, you are never going to believe it. I have an offer in and it's horrible. We have so much work to do on this. It's horrible. And what is your tone of thought on it? How are you feeling? Dreadful. Dreadful. Okay. So I called Heather up and I said, Heather, you got a few minutes? Yep. Okay. Heather, we have an offer that just came in. Oh, this is great. It is great news. It's great news. So I just wanted to give you some of the highlights. I never send the offer first without going it over with my clients. Because what happens if I send it, they panic. And if there's something on there they don't like, they completely shut down on me. Okay. So Heather, I've got the offer. Do you have a few minutes? Okay. So, they've signed the seller disclosure statement. Remember that form, the history of the property, they signed it, so I have that. They've also signed the community association disclosure, so they know that there's mandatory fees. I also have the proof of funds, because this is a cash buyer. Oh, nice. Okay. Now, I have not called to verify that letter yet, but I do have a proof of funds letter showing that they have X amount in their account. Okay. The closing attorney, they've requested to hold the earnest money, which is 1%, is what they're offering right now. Also the affiliated business disclosure, they've already signed that too. So we've got a lot of the paperwork already done. Do you have any questions so far?
No, just basically what's the offer?
The offer? Yeah. Well, oh my gosh, my computer's frozen right now. Hang on one second. I'm trying to find it. Okay. I'm trying to give a little bit of a break here before we go into the terms. So, okay, let's see. The special stipulations are, they would like the washer, dryer, and refrigerator to remain. Is that still okay with you? Okay. They also have in there a special stip that they will not renegotiate the price after they do their inspection. So Heather, this is a little bit different than some investors. So they've already pretty much done their visual inspection and they're not going to renegotiate the price. Now they can terminate if something comes up that they don't like, but they're not going to renegotiate it. Okay. That's how most normal buyers would do it. They're going to establish a price, then they're going to do their inspection, and then there may be some repairs. So it's sold as is. Okay. I did mention to you it's all cash, right? Okay. Now listen to this. They're looking to close in 2 weeks. How does that sound to you?
Sounds great. I'm tired of paying this mortgage by myself.
Understand.
No comment.
Okay. And then I would go through just some of the other special stipulations that I thought might be of interest to her. Okay. Let me see, what else, Heather? Okay, they would like a 3-day due diligence, which would be business days. Okay, remember we talked about that when we first met? I like talking about all of these things that could happen, so I'm setting their expectations the very first time we meet. Okay? So there's 3 business days, and I walk through what do those 3 business days entail, what could happen. The other agent is with WM Realty LLC. I've never worked with him before, but he's been very responsive so far, and he's also part of the LLC, okay, that sits buying this house. Earnest money, we already talked about. They'd like to close with O'Kelly and Sorahan or McMichael and Gray. And the price is $373. So $373,000. Okay. What do you think about that? What do I think about it? Well, the pros are, what are the pros of this offer?
Not gonna have.
Yeah, quick closing, no repair, 3 days, 3 business days due diligence, all cash. Okay.
718? No.
I'm sorry.
No, from 399 to 718 or something.
Yeah, we had it at 389, 718, okay? And their offer is 373. Actually, this offer started out like at 350. Okay, but I kept in touch with the other agent, just saying agent to agent, kind of off the cuff. how far do you think we can, get this? And he resubmitted at 373. So then I called and had the same conversation with Oscar, and he was furious.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to look at it. Don't send it to me. We have to present all offers. So I had the same conversation with Oscar, and he said, I'm not taking it. I'm not interested. Not interested. So they sat on it a day or so, and then I reached back out to them again. And I said, can I talk with you about this offer? This is really a strong offer. And here's the reasons why. Then we went into, Heather was still making the mortgage payments. So I said, Heather, this could be, how much is your mortgage payment? And it's $1,800 a month. Okay. Okay. So it's $1,800 a month. Plus then you're going to have prorations for taxes. You've got utility bills. You're going to have to continue paying for the lawn, et cetera. So if you go back to the first worksheet, actually, I did another one based upon 373. Okay. 195 was their payoff, right? Basing this upon the offer. I prorated their taxes again. There was no $5,000 for closing costs. There was no inspection items. I did everything the same. And then I also plugged in there, she wouldn't have to make a mortgage payment if they took this and no carrying fees. The difference ended up being about $3,000. The $3,000 from the first one. When I did that and had that discussion with Oscar, he then got it. It totally came full circle. So it's so important to do these, Do you have any questions on the actual, this is in FMLS, there's also one net for a buyer. I pretty much never use those because I rely on my lender to do those and do a rate or is it called back sheet, fee sheet. Okay, does everybody feel comfortable that, and I'm happy to talk with you, where we can do another class on it. But this is so key. If I hadn't been able to show him that really the difference is $3,000, and Oscar, I know that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot.
I know, and you told me about your attorney's bills, and I totally understand. $3,000. Okay, and then Oscar comes back and said, well, I think I'm just gonna wait. Maybe I'll sell it next year.
Why don't we counter? Why don't we counter?
We did counter a couple times.
Oh, okay,
I'm paraphrasing it.
okay, so.
Okay. Okay. Any questions on that? If I hadn't been able to show him that really there's only $3,000. So,
Can we renegotiate your commission?
no.
I mean, why does the $3,000 have to come out of my pocket? You know, why do I have to reduce the price of the house? For 3,000, why am I gonna lose $3,000?
Well, do you remember when we did the net to seller sheet and you hired me, that my professional fee is 3%?
Understand,
Okay.
but in this market, I thought maybe you could pitch in.
Oh, I understand. No, I'm not able to do that right now.
Okay.
And then you can go into your value proposition again.
Never heard that.
Exactly. I had a trainer one time that when someone would ask about that, can you do such and such for compensation? He would say no. Any other questions? Yeah. So with that,
Roxie,
yes.
hi, I have a question. So you took quite a while to build up to the offer price. And I'm curious if you ever get an impatient seller who just wants to know that right at the jump.
Yes, yes. And I usually use that kind of stall tactic. Because if I tell them a price and they don't like it, they're not gonna listen to all the rest of the positive things in the offer. So I always work from the back up. If FHA may have been there, I would have started it there, explaining exactly what FHA and what that is. But I never say that. And yeah, they've said, Roxie, I'm busy. I just want to know the price.
Bottom line.
I completely understand, Oscar. But I need to tell you this other stuff first.
Okay.
Okay, any questions or observations on that?
When you do the sheet, so this is what your suggested list price is off what you're basing it off of. I do
At the very beginning.
okay. I do a low end, middle and high end. So it's 3. So this is best case scenario, worst case scenario, and then where kind of they will end up. So you get one.
Yeah, I do that sometimes too. I may do one for 400 and do one for 375. Exactly. I mean, we can all calculate, well, that's a difference of $25,000. approximately on their bottom line, but no.
So Roxy, let me ask, you. So you're saying that we're gonna get that money, nothing's gonna change from here. Give
Well-
us a sheet, that's the money we're gonna get, no surprises.
Okay, and I did have somebody say, I'm not taking 1 cent less than this. I mean, and he was hard fast on this. What my response would be is, as we talked about, the attorney's going to run a title search.
Okay.
And if something shows up, oh God, Oscar, I'd see it all. A ticket at Hartsfield Airport, an unpaid water bill, maybe an IRS tax lien. Those are things that I'm not privy to, so that's not included in this. This is only an estimate.
So that still may vary.
Correct. Mhm. And again, I'm approximating your payoff on your mortgage.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions? Was that helpful?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So I think, yes.
I would like to see that assessor's office website at some point in a class to have a refresher on how do we get in? to
Yeah,
get
a lot
that
of times if you're on FMLS, and just if you want to go to maybe Adams. When you're on FMLS and it's got the link for the tax records, you can go to the tax records.
Right there.
And then usually,
Scroll down.
okay. I'll scroll down, it'll be on your left-hand side.
Oh, where the number is? That number?
Yeah, it's up here.
Yeah.
You can click on that, and then that would take you to Cobb County, Cherokee County, wherever it may
Oh,
be.
okay, all right.
And also Remine has a lot of good information on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So setting the seller up for success, and we have it on the screen up here. Can you scroll to that, Murphy Law for Sellers? Okay, so here's something else that I give out at the time of listing. Murphy's Law for Sellers. I did not write this, but it's just talking about some of the things that we may encounter, so you don't have to address them down the road. For example, people won't love your home like you do. And it's talking a little bit about that. You think that your house is worth more than possibly a buyer does. Okay, can you scroll down to the next one? Unexpected showings. Who's ever had that happen with a seller?
Yes.
And you get a phone call from the seller, they're furious because someone just showed up on their door. Okay, buyer rudeness. Had this one come up a couple of years ago. The guy had cameras in the house and called me and furious, my seller, and said, I want to talk. I want to know who the last agent was that just showed the house. And I said, I don't have it right now, but I'll call you back. I'm going to call his brother. I said, what happened? And he goes, I saw him on my exercise equipment exercising. He left the doors open and his kids were playing with my, like trophy fish on the wall. He was furious. So I had already said, I said, do you remember when we got together, I talked about how some agents are not as courteous? Buyer rudeness, agents, inspections, maybe leaving the stove on. Anybody had that happen?
Oh, yeah.
Inspector? Okay. So my whole point is, it's setting them up for expectations of something that may happen. Any questions on this? And you're welcome to use it.
I would love to have a copy.
It's about the team meeting class.
Yeah, it'll be on the team meeting. It's from Realty Times, 2000 Realty Times. So I just hit on a couple of these things. I guarantee you an agent's gonna be early for a showing or they're gonna be late. Okay, that's just part. And when you have your house on the market, it's not your house anymore. Okay, they're going to open up your closets. They're going to maybe give feedback that you and I don't agree with, but it's feedback. Let's see, what else did I have? This going into the fall. Not talking about negotiations at all, but 13 reasons to sell a home during the fall and winter months. Has anybody seen this before?
No.
Okay, it's on here. 13 reasons to sell a home during the fall and winter months. So I'll probably be sending this out first of next month, maybe the end of this month. Okay, just talking about that there are buyers out over the holidays. November, December, and January have historically, not the last few years, because it's been spring buying season right year round. But November, December, and January have always been 3 of our busiest months. So this just has some things to maybe get them thinking. Homes are decorated during the holidays. I'm not gonna go through all of those, but just another, you can brand it and send it out, email it. What else did I have? Is there anything about negotiating? And we can do another class one day, strictly, dive a little bit deeper. Just, we are on limited time. Any ahas, comments?
I have a question about negotiating. So if you are fortunate enough to have a house with multiple offers.
Yes.
Let's go with, when to start that, right? Is it calling for the highest and best, or, and I know it's really the seller's decision, but the sellers don't know.
Right.
So when you're negotiating for your sellers and multiple offers, do you wait a period of time after that starts, or what do you do?
I think you and I talked about that on the listing you had, right?
Yeah, when I got 25 offers.
Yes, yeah. I think you have to take it on an individual basis.
Yeah.
That, sometimes the seller, if they start maybe thinking, maybe I'll get a better offer, but you've got a really good offer in hand. You may lose that really good offer if you call for highest and best.
Yep.
So I think you have to just kind of look at the house, the traffic that's been on there. But no, a lot of agents struggle with multiple offers. That's not for everyone. To have to
It is
decipher.
confusing and it's overwhelming to the seller.
Yeah. 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 So I usually forward them to them if it's a multiple offer situation as they come in, and I give them a number. So there's offer 1, offer 2, offer 3. And then they may say, Roxie, I'm so overwhelmed. Can you look through these and say which one you think? And it may not be the sales price.
Yeah.
It may be a closing date. It may be it's an as-is sale.
Also in Command, you can add each offer as it comes in and it creates a spreadsheet that you can set.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, as you add offer 1, offer 2, offer 3, and then you can put all of the logistics of the offers and it creates a spreadsheet, save it to PDF, send it right over to your folks.
Okay.
You can update it along the way.
You guys,
And then I'll highlight the top.
how did you decide on the top 3?
Depends on what.
Price, closing date, financing, no financing?
100,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so it depends, and it depends on what they're looking for. If
Yeah.
there's a situation where we want to get out as soon as possible, we'll have a big closing.
And if the seller says, I don't even need to see the offer, I'm gonna reject it, we have to send it.
You do.
Okay. So I've got a few things here that you may want to jot down and then we'll finish up.
Yeah, I'm leaving my husband a second time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had enough.
Okay, so here's just a couple of things that I thought of when I was putting this together today. If I was confident I could sell your home, would you consider moving? I ask every seller when I'm meeting with them at the end of our presentation. And somebody said, oh my God, I would never say that. I look at them and I say, in the short time that we've met, a short time in our meeting today, do you have the confidence that I can sell your house? And I've never had one person say, no. You may get, I think. I'm like, well, hey, we're working together as a team. Because I want to find out if there's something maybe that I didn't cover during the presentation, or maybe that another agent had shared with them. Adam, do you have the confidence in my ability to help you get your home sold?
Yes.
Fantastic. And it used to be, if you've been doing this for a while, the 1-page listing agreement, press hard, 3 copies. Yeah, that was going back into the, remember? Okay. 50 years ago, yes. Thank you, Michael. What is your make me move price? Offer a professional, remember CMA, that buzzword's gone. Offer a professional equity assessment report. Can you go to HomeBot real quick? Who here is utilizing HomeBot? Okay, if you're not utilizing HomeBot, I really think you're missing out. Because every Monday, does everybody know what HomeBot is? You need to get with Kathy in the back. But it's another type of software where you can input people, your leads, whatever it may be, and they get information personalized for their house. Now, it's based upon algorithms. So HomeBot's never been into their house. I got a phone call last week from a guy named Mike, and he said, Roxie, based on your numbers on HomeBot, it shows like I'm $250,000 upside down. And I said, well, tell me about your property. And he goes, I just put $250,000 in my townhouse. I said, well, I don't know that. HomeBot doesn't know that. But a homeowner or a buyer can go in here and play around with it, and they can change their numbers and tweak. So they get an approximate figure. So every Monday I get, can you go back to that one slide? Every Monday, right here, This is in my inbox. Okay, it's just showing who were my active homeowners. Had one person that requested a CMA. Here's a couple of active buyers. And there's people that show up that have not returned one phone call in 5 years. They have not responded to a text or an email. It's not that they're mad at me. They just don't need my help. They'll pop up and I'm like, Bonnie, this is Roxie. How are you? I invested in some new technology and I thought that you've been playing around on it. What do you think about it? And it's a good starter then to get people talking, and it's very inexpensive. Yeah.
FMLS has a similar tool, okay, and it's called One Homeowner.
One homeowner.
And it's on the Matrix homepage.
Okay.
It shows there. I have used both.
Okay.
It's very similar.
Not a good mobile.
Yeah.
People can unsubscribe. Thanks, John. People can unsubscribe from this. Okay, and if I see someone unsubscribe, I'm still going to follow them and see if I can reach them. Hey, I just invested in this new software. I saw you unsubscribed. Was it the software that you didn't like, or you're just getting too many emails in your inbox? But it's a good conversation starter. And everyone, John, you use it. Everyone seems to like it.
Yeah.
So far. Okay.
I also like that, I've seen people add property on there.
Yes.
So properties I may not know they own.
But it tells them there, you know, it's really cool. Couple of these people on here have not returned a phone call in years to me. Okay. Okay, I don't know where I got this, and it may have been here in the class, but you're always buying at the top of the moment. This may have been Gary Keller. You're always buying at the top of the moment, not the top of the market. Thought that was huge. Who do you know that's having trouble selling their home? And I go, oh my gosh, my friend Adam's had his house on the market for 6 months and he can't sell it. Well, I can't call Adam, but Adam can call me if I can help. Who do you know that needs to be in a home by Christmas? Okay. Did you notice I used the word home and not house? Okay. If I was talking to the Oscar and Heather up here, I would probably say, aren't you ready to move on from this house? But when you're looking to buy something, use the word homes. And if I were you, I would pick out one script that you like and use it the whole week when you're calling your database. I'm notorious for having a big long line of different things, just to conversation starters, and then I don't do it. So maybe pick out one. Okay. Okay, any questions? It's 12:30. Was this helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So I wrote down here something that was sent to me is this week. Take a minute to think about what your 2034 self, SELF, would tell you today, and then take that advice. What's yours? This week, take a minute to think about what your 2034 self would tell you today, and take that advice. What's yours?
Well,
Retire? Retire? Rewire? What'd you say? Realign? Okay, so, inspiration for the week. Marriage is hard, divorce is hard, choose your hard. Obesity is hard, being fit is hard, choose your hard. Being in debt is hard, being financially disciplined is hard, choose your hard. Starting a business is hard, working a 9-to-5 job is hard, choose your hard. Life will never be easy, but you can choose your hard. Choose wisely.